This call is from a federal prison.
Hello and welcome to Convict Inc. I'm your host, Robert Rosso. So tomorrow, today is August the 11th. Tomorrow's the 12th, and that will be 27 years ago since I was arrested, which ultimately led to me being sentenced to life imprisonment. I'll go ahead and get into that, but first I want to go ahead and talk about something that's come up here as of late. As many of you know, I've got a bunch of friends here that came from that are from different prisons, all here for cancer treatment, for most of them anyway, medical treatment. The issue of do guys have to put in work has come up over and over, and what I mean by that is, do you have to assault somebody? Putting in work typically means you have to, when something goes down or there's an issue that has to be taken care of, that means you have to put in work, get something handled. That typically means, well, it does mean, I'm saying it kind of, I'm trying to be a little nice, it does mean you have to fuck somebody up, assault, whatever you want to say. So let me say this. I'm coming from a white guy's perspective, but this is pretty much for everybody, and I'm going to also say there's an age factor in this. Anybody that's young, for sure, all the way up. So let's just say, depending on the prison, depending on the person's health, depending on the person's attitude, and if he's one of the fellas or if he wants to just hang out, I'd say about 40, 45 even. That makes all the difference in the world of whether somebody has to, quote, put in work. And here's a few examples, or this is how it works, I should say. So somebody comes in the system new. I've been asked questions like this during lives before, too. Somebody comes in the system new, they know nothing about the federal system, and this goes for guys that are career convicts, career criminals, whatever you want to say, that have been in and out of state prisons, and then they come to the feds, and it's a different world. Everything's separated by cars or gangs. Cars are really crews or groups. For example, you can be in like the Arkansas car. That would be guys, prisoners from Arkansas. Or if you're from Arkansas but you're in a gang such as I was, then I wouldn't be in the Arkansas car. I would be what my gang is, whatever it was, Dirty White Boys, ABs, Texas ABs, whatever that may be. So that's how it depends on your status or what group you're around. Then it's units. So for example, if I am in, let's say, B lower at Leavenworth, for example. Okay, so then you have B upper, B lower. Then you have usually a white rep, depending on the prison, depending on the time. Let me make this clear. All prisons change. All prisons have a place, meaning that it'll be rough for so many years, and then it can mellow out for a little while. Lewisburg was a perfect example. When I was at Lewisburg for about 3 years, it was soft as cotton, and then it flipped on a dime, and then it got to be one of those rough prisons again. Big Sandy has, I guess you'd say every prison has its day. So what happens in one USP might not necessarily be happening in another USP. When it comes to putting in work, what usually happens is the new guy that comes in fresh sentence, whatever it may be, doesn't know anything about the system. If he's white, we usually ask him what car he's in. Depending on what car he's in, he's low man on the totem pole. Well, he always is. He just came in fresh. So what happens next is when something happens, when your number comes up, so to speak, that's the expression, it's your turn to go. And that means it's your turn to handle business, put in work, assault somebody. Usually that does not happen with or by yourself. Usually when somebody goes and puts in work, they bring somebody with them. Not everybody. Sometimes there's 2 or more people. Sometimes there's 3. I was talking to one of my friends from Beaumont the other day, and he was talking about a guy that came in that said admittedly he couldn't fight. He knew he had to put in work, but he was scared to go by himself. So they had 2 other guys go with him because the guy he had to go take care of was a big dude. So, and that's considered, and if you do that, it doesn't matter. Winning or losing doesn't matter at this point. The objective would be to get somebody off the line. and you're talking about somebody who's a sex offender, somebody that's a check-in, that means was in protective custody at a different prison and so forth. But the objective for sure is to get somebody off the line, to get rid of them. But that doesn't mean if you lose, that it doesn't count for you, quote, putting in work, close quote. So there's just so many different factors at play when it comes to stuff like that. I'm sitting here having a hard time because my friends are watching and listening to me say this, and it's really weird when you're sitting on a phone in prison trying to explain prison shit. I can't get over it. It's just not comfortable. So if you don't now there's people who want to go to prison. They just want to sit back, not be bothered. If you don't want to be bothered, by the way, stay away from drugs, alcohol, gambling, all the reindeer games, as I like to say. Your chances of not getting into trouble or survival are way better. But if there's a race issue, everybody is going to be involved one way or the other. Yeah, there's some people that can hide out or conveniently be locked in their cells or conveniently be somewhere else when they know that something's going to happen. That's true. But if you want to have a place sitting at a table in the chow hall, if you want to have say-so over the television, you're going to put in work. If you want to have any kind of respect whatsoever, you're going to put in work. If not, you're going to be treated like a lame or a fucking knack. So while I don't advocate for violence, I would absolutely and I've said this to people before. I've done prison consultant work before. I have people have asked this question, what's it like? And depending on the age, I would tell them, I would absolutely recommend, putting in work if that's what the prison's like. And the old saying, when in Rome, do what the Romans do. That's absolutely true. So you can't just weasel out of it or get out of it if that's what's going on. Buddy, it's August the 12th. This is going to be part 2 of what I was saying last night when talking about putting in work. And I want to clarify a few things, or say a few things, I should say. The Bureau prison system has, 4 different levels? 5, actually, if you're talking about the people in Max or ADX. You've got people in Max, which is, or the SMU program's ADX. Then you have highs, which is the United States penitentiaries. Then the mediums, which are federal correction institutions. And then the low security, and then camp, which is considered out custody. In regards to putting in work, I'm not talking about people in camps. Most lows, there are some lows that actually do, especially if you're in a gang. And a lot of mediums don't have to. For sure, all USPs, I would say. And I was thinking about this last night and talking to a friend about this. When I first came in the system back in 1998, I got arrested in 97. But in 1998, when I entered the feds, there was nobody coming to me and saying something like, you have to put in work. I was 28 years old, so that's young. It's like a kid in the feds. But nobody came up to me and said, it's your number, that you're the next one up, meaning the next one to take care of any kind of problem, which is violence. That didn't exist in my world when I came in. I'm not really sure the years that was started becoming a thing. I'm really not sure. If I had to guess, 2004 is when all the prison gangs started meshing in the feds, and you had people in gang members from different state systems that all started coming into the feds. That was 2004 and 2005. That created what was called the independent whites. And if I had to make a calculated guess, I would say that's when people started using the term putting in work or whatever. I'm just going to guess at that, okay? Otherwise, again, in my world, that did not happen. But now, as soon as I joined the gang, that was a different story. You're the lowest man on the totem pole, you've got to do the dirty work, and that's just how it goes, 9 times out of 10. Okay, so before I get into today is what's been 27 years since I was arrested and then ultimately sentenced to life, I want to make just a few quick comments. I know that the audio last night went out about my GoFundMe page. This was not something that originally I came up with. I'm fortunate to have somebody helping me. Actually, there's more than one person.
This call is from a federal prison.
The ones of you that have agreed to help, that have YouTube shows and everything that I have not talked to, that may do it in the future or that are doing it now, because I really don't know what's going on, to be honest. Thank you for everybody that's supportive. Thank you for those of you that are sending the hateful comments. Thank you too. You make my show. I mean, all you guys together. I do wish I was out there to, respond to all of the comments. And you guys know that I like the hater stuff too. And some of it's warranted. Whatever. But thank you guys. I wish that the bank was in a position to give me a 6-month break. I'd be able to take care of it with one of the settlements. But I can't. I pay the interest on it. It's all paid up. That's just how it is. I'm under. Anyway, I don't know all that much. Under 60, and my payments aren't cheap. I don't want to lose that place. And I'm in a position, like I said on the audio, where I can't get a new renter because I'm going to be home. And by the way, I do have a chance to go home sooner than expected. And I'll get to that in a different audio. Anyway, that's a quick comment. August the 12th, 11 a.m., August 12th, 1997 in Huntington, Arkansas, small town outside of where I live. It was exactly 11 a.m. when local, state, and federal authorities, including the U.S. Postal Service, executed a warrant for my arrest that really wasn't. They made up a bogus warrant, actually, and took me into custody. If I back up, I got out of Chino in September of 1996. About a month later is when I started dealing, and that was real small quantities. Got an ounce in the mail, had it sent to me. That ounce was then turned into 2 ounce. Those 2 ounces turned into a trip to California with cash in my pocket, which turned into 4 ounces out there on the first one, and then I was sending drugs back to Arkansas from California. And then within, I arrived January the 19th, 1997 in California, the day before my daughter's birthday. And within a week, I had already bought a pound and was breaking it up and sending it to Arkansas and Missouri. That was the beginning of my, quote, conspiracy, close quote. That was what I was ultimately indicted for. And many of you know, I've talked about it at length, that the government, in the end, offered me 2 years to be an informant. I said no, and they gave me life without parole for doing that. And again, I've had a prosecutor, United States prosecutor, actually apologize for the government doing that to me. And it was a great feeling when that happened, and that was when I was violent. Okay, so this is the third part of this. We'll mash them all together. Anyway, I left off at saying that the government, the Assistant United States Attorney out of the Western District of Arkansas, did apologize for the government giving me a life sentence during my supervised release revocation hearing. I've talked about it before. I've said his name, Brandon. I've said his name, and yeah, it was a pretty big deal. It really was, because the truth of the matter is, although I was the right guy, yes, I did sell nowadays, which doesn't amount to all that much. Over 7 months, I think they said like 40 pounds of meth. That is like a drop in the bucket compared to what's going on now. But nevertheless, probably I can honestly say, and I've wrote articles about it, ruined a lot of lives, for sure. I'm not going to say I'm directly responsible or that I started people, because I didn't, that I know of. Like, I didn't turn people out and give them the first use, but definitely those drugs hurt a lot of people. Anyway, I did 23 years, 8 months, 1 day or 2 days, however you want to look at it. The day I got released, I didn't count. And during that time, for sure, I knew I was going to get out. I really just felt I was going to get out. There was a few times that I didn't, a few different periods, dark periods, but in general, I do. I believed in it. I knew in my heart that I was, and I did. And let me tell you something. I just read some statistics today on people that have been released under the First Step Act, the newly revised compassionate release statute, And it's not all that many in the big scheme of things. And I'm really, really fortunate. And here I am back in here now. A bump in the road, a couple bumps in the road, I should say. And what matters is not, I can't change everything in the past, but I can change what's going to happen in the future. So, the nightmare that is still this sentence did start 27 years ago today. And it is kind of a trip that I am sitting here talking on a phone. In the situation that I'm in, that means I did start off, I was sentenced to life without the possibility of release. I did have a taste of freedom, free from incarceration, but not free from the chains of addiction, I guess you would say. And that's not trying to, that's not hyperbole. That's the truth. As a matter of fact, I was just reading an article today in the USA Today about addiction. Says a lot of the stuff that I've always felt, but I couldn't put into words. So I forgot the name of the article, but it is a trip, kind of being in the situation that I'm in. It's like, on one hand, there's the sense of relief because I've got less than 6 months now, no matter what. That's halfway house or not. And yeah, I just said halfway house, but that's less than 6 months left. That life sentence is off me. I'll never forget the chief probation officer down in the Western District, my favorite guy, Brent Young, telling me that I won. Either way, I won. I went from having a life without parole to 10 years supervised release to 3 years supervised release to 14 months incarcerated, and then I'm done with it. And in that sense, he's right. Lost a lot along the way. Lost the most important thing to me, but hey, I'm still alive. Health I'm dealing with it.
This call is from a federal prison.
Got over 6 months clean, and I'm fortunate. So anyway, I just wanted to bring that up. By the way, I'm going to be doing reading the transcripts from my trial at some point when I get out. That was already planned. I'll never forget when my PO came to the door. When they came and arrested me on this case, I had it scattered all over my dining room table. The transcripts from my trial, which I was getting ready to start doing during some lives to show people what trials are really like. It's not like anything you've seen on TV. I was going to read some of the statements and kind of give everybody a taste of what it was like and kind of talk through, what was going on in my head and different stuff like that, different witnesses. It was a very short trial. Very short. Anyway, that's about it. What else? I was going to end up going back to the GoFundMe issue and the comments. I was told that, of course, I got my 50% haters out there, and I guess it runs pretty much right down the middle. Those of you that have negative comments to say, that's about any of the videos. Keep them, try to use your brain and at least kind of say something and just so they'll stay there. I am a person that doesn't believe, I'd leave everything up. I don't know if I've ever taken a comment down myself. The only thing I've had two people that are, what are they called, moderators, not moderators, moderators if you will. I told them both the only thing to take down is anything to do with Marta, my ex-wife. I don't want any comments, negative things said about her, and just kind of erase her from it all. Period. That's the only thing I've ever said. Anything about me, I can care less. But I do have my friends feel like stupid. It's just if there's too many, whatever. So I look forward to being on Alive and people saying what they have to say and having me come back. I know I'm a divisive, I guess you'd say, figure, meaning I stepped into controversy when I went after a rat, and that's Jimmy Calandra out of the Bath Avenue crew. I'll never forget when Jeff Nadeau told me to stay out of it, but I did, went in it. And then, of course, when you talk bad about the mafia, people get their feelings hurt. People have this false sense of what it means or what these guys are really like in prison. Most of them, not all of them, I want to be clear. And here I come along and say, well, most of them are punks, and they've been extorted. And people don't like that. And then I say stuff about prison gangs that people don't necessarily like. I mean, there's actually, it feels good to have that sense of freedom and be able to speak the truth. And that ruffles feathers. And there are a lot of people that follow my channel that love rats. And that's just the way it is. You know, you support, and there's a lot of people from New York, they support Sammy the...
This call is from a federal prison.
What's the franchisee or whatever. And when I go ahead and say something derogatory, I know that ruffles feathers. But it is what it is. I'm going to keep being me. That's just how it is, how it's going to be. And I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say it again. I've said it 1,000 times since I've done this. I hate these audios. I can't stand them. It is so difficult to do these audios compared to just pushing a button on my phone or doing a live. It's quiet. There's people like around you. Everybody, it's awkward. I talk kind of different. I can sense I'm not clear enough with my words, but whatever. That's what it is. It's what I have to work with now, and I'm grateful for even being able to do this. Thanks for your support on both sides of the aisle.